This is how we ride. This is how we do.
Is my end of it. Teams, drivers, we have to change with the times. We have to. What worked in 2003 isn't even remotely like working today. And you know what? In 5 years from now, maybe it comes back. And I think the promoters and the track people, and it's not that they don't. A lot of them do. They need to kind of start looking around a little bit and see how do they improve their program. If you have a 30-car field and 25 guys tell you part of the problem is it's too narrow, and then you walk around the track and you realize, hey man, I can cut this infield and make it wider. And what is wrong with trying something like that? Like that's one of the few things that sometimes you run into certain promoters. I mean, they are just hell bent on. Just not even. They're like granite, man.
They're God.
They're. Listen, I've been to Charlotte. I love Charlotte. Everybody's not a fan of Charlotte. I'm a fan of Charlotte. I've been going to Charlotte since 2002 or 19, whatever year they started having the big block races down there during that auto show in April. I've been to Charlotte probably more than anybody. I got news for you. That track was 40 foot wider than it is today. And everybody's like, well, you know, you can't pass. I'm like, well, of course you can't pass. I come off the bottom off of 2, and it's so narrow that I just swing out like a big circle, and I just go to that outside wall, and now the guy on the outside gets run. He can't even hang a left and slide me or drive under me because there's not enough room getting in the 3 for it to happen. And Humpy Wheeler told us, God, 15 years ago at the modified race, he said, listen, he moved the tires out, and he said, you know, them boys across the street at that big track, they only need 39 foot of width to drive 3 wide around this place. And me and Alan Johnson, Jack Johnson, my dad, everybody's looking at each other like, are you kidding me here? And that's what it was. He just moved the tires out, and here we are. You know, 20 years later, it's narrow as hell. And it's like, we used to run 4 wide in big blocks around that.
Hold on. What was his reasoning?
He said the guys across the street, which was the big track, he said they only needed 39 or 40 foot of pavement to run 3 wide around this place. He said, you guys don't need 75 or 80 foot of racetrack. He literally said at a driver's meeting in front of, I don't even know, 500 people or more. Like, and we were looking at each other, Brad, her, and all of us were like, well, what? And then the grass would grow in every year. And you can ask guys like Chris Madden, who have been there as long as I have, and we all like that place. And I think it's racier than it shows sometimes. But man, like anytime they start moving these infields out at these racetracks, it doesn't lead to better racing. It just leads to better blocking, if that makes any sense.
I just can't believe the arrogance of, you said that was Humpy Wheeler, correct?
That was Humpy Wheeler, man. That's how long ago this was. It was like, I'm telling you, I think it was 2001, maybe 2000, somewhere around there. It was when I was driving for John Finch in a modified.
How disrespected did y'all feel at that point? That's kind of disrespectful. I don't care how you put it. That's pretty disrespectful.
It's not even disrespectful. You just know that, like, he doesn't know what we do for a living.
Talk to the drivers. It's like you said, when you got 25 drivers saying something, maybe something's up, you know? I mean, that's got to be pretty arrogant.
Beauty about what we... Well, the beauty about what we all do, like, as drivers, you know, say performers, whatever you want to call it, we know how to put on a good show. We know kind of what it takes. Maybe not all of us want it that way because certain guys are going to run better in this condition, yada, yada, yada. But when you get us all together and just ask us our honest opinion, I believe every division will tell you the truth of how to make the racing better. And one of the few, in my opinion, motorsports where I see where they just work with the talent is motocross. Like, them guys work with the guy, you know, Ricky Carmichael starts designing racetracks. Mm-hmm. Well, why is that? I mean, how many tracks has he built in his life? But he was probably the best guy ever to do it. So they started listening to him because the racers were telling them, hey, this is how we make it better, man. We need this, this, and this. And just like Jack Nicklaus designing a golf course, like, you got to listen to the guys that do it. And that's a tough nut to crack, man, because it doesn't always happen. And that's the only drawback that I see. There's many drawbacks, but the major drawback is, I know it sounds like we're complaining, but if they just would work with us, we guys that travel like me in the sprint cars, we go all over the country, man. We've seen the dirt at this place. We've seen the dirt at that place. It's unique for this area, but we've seen all of it. If you ask us our opinion, most of the time we're honest. We probably don't deliver the message the right way. But, man, if you want to help the racing, you got to listen to the guys that do it. Like, that's the only way to do it, in my opinion.
I mean, every other sport works that way. I mean, Byron Leftwich wasn't a great quarterback, but he's Tom Brady's quarterback coach. You know, it's like if you play on the field, you know, you might know how that position, what it needs, you know, and when you're the product, the performer, you might know what the performance needs. And I'm not the czar. Believe me, I'm not the czar, man. You talk to guys like Bloomquist and Dale McDowell that come before me. Like, I just know that at the end of the day, we do need to make the racing better, but we also you gotta understand there's a reason why sometimes the racing isn't good, and it's not always because a guy like me doesn't just cowboy up and get 5 foot above the cushion, if that makes sense.
This is how we ride, this is how we do. Ride mud, slide mud.